Hello, so I'm doing this video to demonstrate a new effect I worked on this weekend that we're calling Galaxy. We already had an effect called Spirals, and these are kind of like doing a spiral type effect. So I came up with the idea called Galaxy because we have galaxies with spiral arms. So I've got a few of these that are already on the sequence from when I was testing this out and playing around with different things you could do. I'll go through and show a few of those first and then talk details about how you can set the settings for the effect. So what you're seeing right here are these first three. I've got them overlapping so that when the first one is just about away from the center, the second one is starting up, so it's three of them in a row spinning outwards. If I click on each one, you can see how that has like a red, white, and blue coloring. That has the green, turquoise, yellow. So I did three different color patterns, so that's why you see the colors change as it spins out. It's really three different ones. Let me click on this next one. So this next one, I've just got a color blend spinning around in a circle. This is on a 12 by 50 ribbon tree, by the way. This next one kind of starts in the center and spins out, and then there's one underneath it that starts spinning outward before the first one's done, since I have them overlapping. If you see the whole thing, if I select all that and hit play, you can see the second one finish out in its entirety. I'll move along to the next one. I think here I've just got a little bit wider, starting out wide and ending small. And then after that, whereas you can see on this one I start in the center and spin outward. On the next one I'm starting outside and spinning towards the middle. Here's one where I moved my center point over to the left, so I'm doing kind of a big sweep from that focus point, so you see I'm kind of shooting in from the left side. And then I got a little grouping here that's, well, to see all three I need to do a play across all three. Same as the first thing, except I did the same red, white, blue for all three effects. Let's see what the next one is. So this is just showing how you could have just, it doesn't have to like spiral all the way out. You can change it, you can play around with the angles. Let me change that start angle here so you can see it swoop in a little bit better. So here it's starting up here and swooping around. You could change that by moving the center point. I think the only thing I don't have is a reverse of the spin direction. I probably should add that. Okay, let me first show all the ones I have, then I can talk about the effects. So here's one I created that starts up here and does about one revolution. And then down on this matrix I created, I put a white background so you could see. Let me bring it down so you can see that one. So I just put a white background on the matrix, and then you can see the effect spinning out on top of it. So if I got that white out of the way, let me render. That's what it looks like without the white in the background, so if you're picking it up at the end. Put the white back in the way. Just kind of showing you some cool things you can do. So let's drop a new one on the canvas here. So there's three tabs: Start, End, and Options. Start is defining things like the center point of focus, which right now, since these are centered, it's in the middle of the model. If if you move the X to the left, that moves the focus point over to the left side. Move the X to the right, moves the focus point to the right. Same thing with Y. I can move that Y focus point up high or down low. And then there's a start radius. Right now it's almost at 0, that's why it's starting in the middle. So if I move this part way up, then we'd be starting at a further out rate. That's basically the radius from the center point. So you're starting at a radius that's above 0. Now if I put this way out, it wouldn't do much because it's over there close to what the ending radius is. Now I could leave that high, go to the end, and pull his radius down, and then it would spiral inward. So that's how you change the direction of whether you're spiraling in or out. And there's also start and end width, so you can make the start width small, and they look like little thin lines, and make it end big. You can do some weird things if you get them really big. Or I can start out large and end smaller. So some neat things you do, and of course you've got the whole color palette over here that you can tweak your colors. So it's easy to come in here and add a third color, fourth color, fifth color. Up here on the grid, you can see your colors a little bit better. If you right now that's what we call icon mode. We also have a background mode that's going to be in the release that should come out today. So you can go grid icon backgrounds on, and that switches so you can see the effects more in a color representation of what the effects are actually doing. So I can tell immediately that affect's, red changing to blue, and I can see all the colors I have. You'll see that change as you deselect colors. So it gives you a nice visual indication of what your effect's doing without having to click on it. But if that's cluttering up your page, you can go turn that off and just look at icons. So that's a new feature that's also being added along with this effect. So back to the effect. So there's a start angle. I believe I had one of these set up. This one's a good one to show the start angle. Let me make it a little smaller so it goes quicker. So you can see it's starting about right there. Let me move this back to center so we can start in the center of the model. So if I move the angle over to like 180, it'll start down low. So I'm changing where that start point is. That's why I started with a radius that was out further, so you can see it starting. If I was starting in the middle, it's kind of hard to see which angle it starts from, but if you have a starting radius that's outside of the middle, you can see it change where that's going to start from. And there's radius multiplier, start way out, so you can see that's just way off screen and only shooting it at the last second. Also a multiplier for the width. I did the multipliers because most of the time you're going to be working with numbers in a smaller range, but if you really want to get up to some of those larger sizes, then you do a times 10 multiply. So explained radius and width for start and end. Revolutions, that's going to be how many times that thing spins on the way in. So you can make it really small where it hardly does any spin at all, or bring it out here and do several spins. I believe I've got it set for 5 revolutions if you go all the way out here, or you can double that to 10. So you can get a lot of different looking effects based on how you set this. And under options, head duration is kind of like the morph, except you don't see it quite as well. The easier thing to do is if I change that mode back, so you can look at the this is showing you about the approximate length of the tail. So if I move that head, you'll see that change up here. That kind of represents whether the tail is short or not. If you make the head duration long, then you have a short tail. Make the head really short, it's almost, you know, the tail's in the frame a lot longer. Acceleration, if you move that to the right, it's going to slow down the start and speed up the end, so it'll start out really slow and then speed up as it gets near the middle, or do the opposite down and start fast and slow down on the way in. Let me make this opposite. Let me spin it outward. So I believe that's all the options that we have inside the new effect now. Like I said, I think I'm going to probably add an option to reverse the direction, and that might be one nice addition. So hope you have fun playing around with the new effect. Enjoy.